I'm so happy for all the work that you're doing and all these products. I can't wait to nerd out with you today.
Yeah. Well, we're getting ready to add 43 more new products.
Well, like, okay, I know you can't tell me all of them, but what are they? Like what do they span?
They're all spinal fitness. We've got the neck shaper, but we've got the Back Trac.
Oh, is that to add curve?
Well, the plexus roll doesn't have it right because it crunches your spinous. This lets your spinous float so your transverse process catch on it and adjusts your spine.
Oh my gosh.
Roll on it. And then we've got, actually I could run downstairs and get them, but we have 15 different neck cushions. They're in 5 different diameters and 3 different densities with the groove.
Oh, they're kind of like foam rollers, how they have different.
Well, you do this back twist and you lay over them for 20 minutes because you do the back twists and your discs, your spinal discs go from a sponge to a gel. Then you lay on them, and then without gravity, then your body relaxes and then your discs firm up to foam again, foam density. So then you roll off of them and your spine reshapes. It's kind of like instead of eating candy and going to bed without flossing and brushing your teeth, you could use these from all the forward head posture at the computer to restore the curvature.
Oh my God, I got to introduce you to Dr. Bergman. Do you know who he is? He's a famous chiropractor, and he's got a really big following, and works with a lot of other really big chiropractors in Orange County, LA area.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm creating a detox course for his patient practice and followers, and he's a miracle worker with spinal anything, and he gave me some gadgets to take home. But I don't know if he has really cool things like what you're talking about. I played professional soccer, and my biggest issue that I'm always chasing is, God, I wonder if I could ever get out of pain, because my discs are like, they're like not there.
Oh yeah. So I got utility patents on 1, 2 of the back products, or actually there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of the back products, and then design patents on 3 more.
You're a rock star.
And it's Dr. Sugar used it with the U.S. Olympic team, the New England Patriots, and then one of the coaches left the New England Patriots, went to the New York Giants, and then of course then they went to the Dallas Cowboys, and they've kept this a secret. And Dr. Sugar passed on, and I had his prototype that none of the players had.
Yeah.
So I developed into this easy device. And then now, like, I'm working with UFC fighter Luke Rockhold, different NFL players have our devices. The San Francisco 49ers have an order for all the neck shapers. And
oh yes, girl.
The Rams. And it's like they're crazy about it because they know some of the people that originated from the New England Patriots know about it. And I have one of the only other weight stack machines like that the New England Patriots have in their gym. And, and I've got the power cushion. You can look at my IG where I've been posting different things about, the spinal fitness equipment. I've got 16,000 cushions coming. I just paid for the molds for the power cushion and the neck shaper. Then we got to do more force applicators, the ones for the chest and the hip. But I was traveling all over California, meeting these professional athletes, and Dr. Sugar developed this spinal evaluation for players. And that's how the New England Patriots got good players for cheap money, because they know how to see who's going to be less prone to injury,
resilient,
and that kind of thing. And so basically I evaluate them, and I have them jump, I have them bend, reach, measure their hamstring tightness. Then I take them through 3 exercises, not even a full set of reps. And every single one of them, like Gilbert Melendez, he couldn't put his palms on the ground. He couldn't reach. And after one set, he could.
Wow.
And his back was cracking and he felt taller, lighter. He could reach longer. In one set, he grabbed my cushion and says, "See you later." And as soon as I get all these gyms that have these professional athletes, it said, there is nothing that I have tried everything, like Tyson Ross, the Major League Baseball player. People don't know this, but he had to have surgery. He couldn't even pitch anymore. He had to reteach him how to pitch.
Why? Surgery on his shoulder?
Yeah. And he couldn't even throw. And so he's gone through the rehabilitation. He's done everything. This guy does everything holistic and he's into everything. And I put him through one set. And this guy is like, oh my gosh, there's nothing that goes this deep and transforms your body so quickly.
Wow.
Same thing with Luke Rockhold, the UFC fighter. Oh my gosh. And he's, and looking at these guys, who's the closest to the ideal posture is this guy. I know as soon as I get him the power cushion and all that, because I'm going to be down there with Super Bowl week and we're having all these professional players and I'm going to do the evaluation and teach them. It's going to be filmed, the whole 9 yards. But
so what it sounds like you're talking about here would be something that chiropractors need to give their patients in between sessions. And I will tell you right now, the only chiropractor that I've ever worked with that gave me stuff in between is Dr. Bergman. And he gave me this little strap thing to use and like a couple other things for my neck. And, that little pumper, I had brought this earlier, but the little pumper that makes your neck longer, and then I had another thing on my door that pulls my, do neck exercises. There's actually 2 chiropractors I've ever worked with that gave me things to do at home. And I always say, like, that's codependent model if you don't give people in between things to retain the results that you pay such good money for. So that's kind of what you're doing.
They're just getting rid of subluxations and adjusting vertebrae. But the problem of it is they're not giving you the shape,
right,
to where it's impossible for the vertebrae to go out of alignment.
Right.
And the reason why people don't get the shape is it's like Russian roulette. I mean, we send our kids to grade school and they start having them do regular sit-ups. That gets rid of the low back curve. It doesn't induce the low back curve.
Hello, tight hip flexors.
You have to provide posterior support with the shape. Hence the groove in a lot of my cushions and things, so the spinous can float and catch the transverse process. But then you have to, it's like if you're going to move a large boulder, you got this long bar. You put the bar there and you got to put a fulcrum underneath it so you can get leverage.
Right. Makes sense.
So this thing that we lay over puts our spine into a leveraged position. Then we strategically put weight on the body part that we want to induce curvature in. Then we do things like pelvic tilt and sit up and the neck flexion, and we induce curvature. And then all of a sudden, because you can't ever change the muscle attachment points on bone. And you got tight muscles, that means your bones are out of place. They're not in the ideal mechanical advantage. It's like everybody's running around with a bent crankshaft in their body. I mean, no wonder you're going to have pain and you're not going to, and the thing of it is people don't realize your body spends so much effort holding your body erect in gravity.
Yeah.
And like, if you have neutral posture, when you're standing up, your hamstrings have zero effort. They're loose. And then your hamstrings are for locomotion. It's for speed. It's for fast twitch. It's for jumping, launching. But if you have tight hamstrings to begin with, that means that your weight's not centered over your hips. You might have a little bit of forward head posture, 2 inches, maybe 2 inches at the hips is typical. Then your hamstrings are holding 843 pounds of effort. So
because
that
it's extra when you're out of alignment.
Yeah. And that will never be available for you to run, for fast muscle twitch. The body reserves that. And so you don't get the athletic performance. So these products enhance athletic performance like nothing there is, and no one else provides simultaneous posterior support with a groove to where you can do muscular co-contractions in a horizontal and vertical manner with anterior force to shape the spine. Nobody can give you the shape of the spine but this.
So can you tell me, before we get into started on the other stuff, where did you come up with that 843?
Dr. Scherger. Okay, so spinal biomechanics came from first Leonardo da Vinci, Borelli in 1680s, Pettibon, and then Dr. Scherger. Dr. Scherger used to be in cranes, and he used to be an iron worker, and how cranes and leverage works. And so the body has lever arm systems. So he mathematically calculated, just like Borelli did with the stevedore, with 680 pounds on the shoulder, it translated into compression forces and shear forces into the spinal column. It was over like 12,000 pounds or whatever, but nobody had done the study to find out joint by joint, C1 through 7, T1 through 12, L1 through 7, to find out what the shear forces and the compression forces are per joint. And Dr. Scherger did that and wrote all these wonderful courses that are copyrighted, and he's dead and his widow doesn't share that stuff. But it is mathematically proven that it's a 15-to-1 mechanical advantage. You know, everybody's into body muscle overload training. Let's have some great biceps, triceps, but they're not looking at how the arm, because of the posture of the spine, how that gets restricted and doesn't have the full potential. Right. And so giving the shape of the spine then enables the lever arms of the body to operate more efficiently. And so that's all part of his studies. Wow. And I rewrote PDF guides. I'm working on rewriting his information and referring to certain technical stuff. I mean, you can't rewrite math, you know. Sure. And so I'm providing those examples to people. It's just like people also, like the New England Patriots, they don't have their players do leg extensions or leg curls anymore because of Dr. Scherger's work on what it does to the ACL ligament. That's
what happened when I was in college. My strength and conditioning coach was like, no more of that. We're going to do deadlifts and what was it for the quads? I think it was just deadlifts and squats. And I was like, why would we not? I don't understand. And then I went back to becoming a bodybuilder, a bikini competitor. And it was right back to leg extensions, knee extensions, same thing. And then
but what it does is because you've got your upper thigh bones and then your joint. And then when you're extending them and weight is going down, that's going against the ACL, and ACL only stretches so much. And so then you're tearing them. Yeah, it's dangerous.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I mean, exercise is everything that you do, everything is micro tears. So that, but you're talking about like ligaments and tendons, not muscles. Like,
right. Yeah. It's dangerous. And, you know, people are still doing it. And, you know, people are out with knee injuries all the time. Because what are they doing? They're doing that. They're causing loose joints. So strong muscles don't make strong joints.
Sounds like a bit of a spine school, what you're doing. It's like a system with solutions that are products and kind of a whole total body rehabilitation, that if somebody bought some of these devices to retrain their spine, they can get their body back and reduce pain. And what else? Like, what are the other benefits?
Well, you know, from your brain through your spinal cord, every single nerve exits through the meninges between the vertebrae that gives the signals to every organ in your body. And if you are pinched, you know, it relates to organ health. So if you can get the flow of electrical energy and impulses to your organs, your whole, you know, health of your body is going to improve. And, you know, it's like everybody, kids, especially are doing the energy drinks and the coffee, it's because everybody's waking up without energy. But what if your body's spending more energy every day, holding your head up, your shoulders, your low back? What if your body didn't have to spend that energy because you had good posture?
How much energy do you think that our body actually uses, if you could even estimate, or if there are scientific studies to show this, based on the work that you were just mentioning? Are there studies that actually show that if we're carrying around almost 800 pounds of weight from I would say improperly stacked spine, how much energy could it possibly take? Like, is there a range of somebody who has like slightly curved spine to really curved spine?
I have not read any study that extrapolates it to how much energy consumption, a person has. I know that there's a direct correlation between pain and not in losing range of motion, with spinal irregularities. And but like if I have to go to the chiropractor, I mean, I had a bicycle accident, where I slammed into a guardrail and my ribs were out, and I needed to go get adjusted, and I was just exhausted until that rectified. It's because everything's tightening up, your body's inflaming things to try to heal it, and
Cortisol.
I mean, if everybody's probably suffered from back pain or knows somebody who does, and it's like debilitating. It is debilitating.
That would be me.
But I do laboratory hair analysis, and I can see the effect of stress on people as far as how their adrenal and thyroid glands doing, what
based on their mineral patterns.
And it's just like so many people are burnt out. Over 80% of people tested are like in a huge energy deficit.
Right. That's what I say too, because they're in a slow pattern, and it's like your adrenals and your thyroid are exhausted, and you can't fix hormone deficiencies with more hormones. Like, what do we not just do, but what do we undo to give the body its best chance at adaptation or fighting off bugs, viruses, which pretty much live in parasites. So you got to go after both of them, but the body's exhausted for a reason. And here's my last question, because, I've done so much, a lot of rehabilitation, because I had my breast implants removed 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago. And I have a lot of obviously followers and ladies who are all about explanting and the rebuilding their body after. My book, Killer Breasts, is back there. And 6 weeks after I had my implants removed, I ruptured my Achilles tendon. So I was at a second surgery, and then I had a third surgery that year. So I was in and out of physical therapy and rehab. And I learned a lot about this stuff, like about the spine and being out of place. And you guys can listen to the podcast where I talk with Nabiz Habab about the vagus nerve and the importance of that, communication. Your nerves are everything. And if you don't, what we always say is that you need to, there's two very powerful things where the body will go out of place in terms of creating illness or hormone imbalances or infections. And that is, you don't have proper amount of voltage, AKA electricity in your body, nerves, like Eileen's talking about, or you have nutrient deficiencies, and then everything else from there fails. So if you don't have electrofiring, then you lack power. And well, it makes sense, right? If you think about it from an electrician standpoint. So I saw these pictures of like the human head weighs X amount of pounds based on that one movie, right? And what was it? The Show Me the Money with Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I can't remember the name of the movie, but the kid's like, did you know the human head weighs whatever he said, 8 pounds? And so isn't it that the more forward the head tilt, the more weight that's on the spine? It's something like a forward head tilt is like 30 or 40 pounds.
Oh, it's more than that. It's like over 100 pounds.
Oh God, dear Lord. And the majority of people are this way. Like there's a lot of
so why do people have pain down their shoulders? Nerves. And tight? And then what do people do? They take an ibuprofen and they take a muscle relaxer. That's the emergency. That's the alarm going off of the body. We can't have you shift anymore. It's going to even be more damaging. So it's tightening those muscles for a reason.
Eileen, I don't have time to do everything you're talking about. That's too much work. I'm just going to take a pill. I got to get through the day. And until you're like debilitated and on the side of the road, basically, your body is just on the side of the road, then you can't walk. And then now you're doing the nerve thing. I can't feel my arm. I'm never going to amputate it, but I'm kind of playing with you guys. But what would you say to people who would say that, what if they ignore it, if they continue to take ibuprofen and the painkillers, what then are the consequences of not addressing it the way that you're teaching it here with these devices?
All they have to do is go to spinalfitness.com and it forwards you to the page, and there's free PDF downloads. There's 6 of them. And it teaches you in there to fold a towel a certain way, where to place it, how to do a back twist, and lay down over it. And you'd be shocked, totally shocked at how much better you feel just doing that.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, and so you don't have to start big,
right?
Start small.
Baby.
And that's the thing that, these professional athletes I've been working with and everything, they say, what I love about your products, Eileen? Every single one of them, I use it once and I see a huge difference.
I love it. I love that, because people don't continue because they don't see a difference.
Right.
Or it takes too much time, or it's too hard, or it's too expensive. I'll tell you what's expensive. What I've done since I was 17, I've been in a chiropractor's office pretty much every week for 25 years. And I still have back problems, and I've done stem cell and PRP and ozone, and those things have helped, but I still have my spinal issues. And I know it's because of sitting all day in front of my computer. I've had a lot of injuries too. And a lot of these injuries could just be chronic and sitting in front of your computer like this all day, or like iPad or phone or driving. And if it starts in your neck, the rest of your spine goes. And so we all have that at this point. We all have spinal issues in one way or another to some degree. It's just a matter of time before it affects you. And especially if you've had breast implants, I mean, that's like 5 pounds pulling you forward that gets heavier and heavier to the point where it's almost 10 pounds, 15 pounds by the time you remove them because of all the inflammation around them. It requires retraining our spine again. And if you ignore it, I've spent over $100,000 in chiropractic adjustments, treatments, spinal decompression, and done it all around the world. And I know that the bottom line is that I could be doing better things at home to prevent that.